A popular conversation I have with photographers is what is the best CRM or customer relationship management software out there. My system is much different than everyone else's, so today I'm breaking down exactly what it looks like in my personal boudoir photography business. Hey boudoir photographers, are you ready to be totally booked out with high-paying clients? I'm Tracy Lynn, and I went from side hustle photographer to running a $1 million boudoir photography business, working just 30 hours a month. That's right, just 30 hours a month. On this podcast, I tell you how I did it and how you can too. Hey there and welcome back. Over the years, I've tried every software out there. I'm not going to name names of what I've used and didn't like, but if it's out there, I've probably at least created a free account. Some I found are too robust. Some didn't have enough of what I needed. Some are hard to set up, like way too complicated for what they are, and some are just right. But here's what I've learned through it all. I would rather use a few different softwares to do the things I need instead of one that does everything, but either overcomplicates it or adds too many steps, or it just isn't exactly how I needed or wanted. We've been marketed to so much as photographers and business owners that we think that we need one software to do everything, and that's not the case at all. In fact, what I found are the 3 softwares that I use to run my photography business actually end up being cheaper than using one software to do everything, and they're way easier to use and set up. This podcast episode is not to bash anyone, and I'm not sponsored by any software that I'm recommending, although if they want to sponsor me, I would love that. I'm just telling you this because I don't want you to feel pressured to use what's cool in the industry or what the quote pros use. It might be trendy now, it might be mainstream, but it may not be in a few years because, as we know in the industry, trends come and go pretty fast. So I say use what's best for you and your business. And today I'm breaking down the CRM or customer relationship management software I use in my business, which also happens to be the most cost-effective for photographers. If you're looking for a CRM, try these before you jump into anything else. But if you're a wedding photographer, I have one more thing to say. I don't know that this CRM will work quite as effectively or efficiently for you, unfortunately. Definitely check it out before you go all in to make sure it's what you need. For weddings, you might need something completely different. All right, let's dive in. My actual CRM is what used to be Acuity, but it is now called Squarespace Scheduling. I love this program so much because my clients can book their session, sign the contract, and pay the invoice in one simple step. And the most important thing about marketing is you have to make things easy for your clients. And Squarespace Scheduling does just that. Whereas other CRMs may do what Squarespace Scheduling does, but it seems to take like 3 to 4 steps and 3 to 4 emails to actually get it done. That is not what you want at all. If you're making something more than one step, you have more of a chance of losing the client, or they just won't follow through. They may not pay the invoice or sign the contract right away, meaning you're going to waste time tracking them down. And that's one thing that I hated about the way I used to run my business early in my career. I hated tracking clients down, asking them to sign the contract or pay the invoice. Like, why am I wasting my time doing that? I could be doing other things instead, like marketing so that I can book more clients and make more money. The easier you make things on your client, the easier it will be to book more clients. Another thing that I love about Squarespace Scheduling is the coupon code feature. They are so easy to set up, and you can use them when you're running a Black Friday sale, or for your business referrals, or for your client referrals, or even as an incentive to download your freebie to get on your email list. This lets you automate your schedule so that if you're running, for example, your Black Friday sale, then you can set it up to take care of itself behind the scenes. By the way, if you want to hear more about my Black Friday or annual sales strategy and how it guarantees $20,000 in income per sale for me, make sure you listen to last week's episode, which is episode 61, all about my easy annual sales strategy. All right, let's switch gears and talk about my accounting and invoicing software next, and that's QuickBooks. The other reason I don't want to use the mainstream software is because I use this program specifically. I'm sure you've heard of QuickBooks because it's very popular software for small businesses for good reason. And it's a favorite among accountants because it makes their job very easy. In 2021, my CPA actually took over my bookkeeping and he wanted me to switch everything over to QuickBooks. Switching to this program was the best thing that I've done for my business. My life is easier, it's simplified, and not just because he's doing the bookkeeping, but also because I know exactly where every single dollar in my business is going. Sure, he makes it a lot easier because I'm not managing it, but it's also simplified. Like my reports are so simple right now and they're so easy to understand. Like anyone could understand these reports. So I really want to encourage you to check it out at least. There is a little bit of a learning curve. Once you get through it, it is so worth it. I take payments through QuickBooks, which also makes things easier because the payments come through there. It's easier to track. I don't have to sync another invoicing software to my QuickBooks. It's all right there, easy to understand, and I can sort it out really easy so I know exactly where I'm making my money. And it makes my business look professional since it is a professional software. Now, my clients do their bookings through Squarespace scheduling, like I said, and they pay the session fee over there, but I invoice for everything else, albums, products through QuickBooks. Do I think that you have to have a software that's just for accounting purposes? No. I think that you can use whatever you want to use. But what I do think is that if you can set this up now, well, when you're ready to hire a bookkeeper, it's not going to be as much of a hassle as it would be if you were starting QuickBooks from scratch at that point. It's just going to simplify your life now and in the future. And you know that I love to keep things simple. And the last piece of my CRM puzzle is a software to sign contracts. So Squarespace scheduling has a terms and conditions area, which is where I have my portrait contract. They have to agree to the terms and conditions before they can actually book their session. So that's taken care of over there. It makes booking the session really easy because, like I mentioned, I'm not chasing them down to sign the contract before the actual session, and I get everything done when they book. Like it's all done and ready to go. But I still need somewhere for them to sign a few things to keep my business running smoothly and to save myself in certain situations. So, what I do is I use HelloSign or what is now Dropbox Sign. I've been using some of these programs for so long that you can tell that I'm still with the old company that they were before new companies bought them. But I use HelloSign or Dropbox Sign for model releases, payment plan authorizations, proof approval forms, and signing invoices. I love this because it's very pretty, looks professional, and it's easy for clients to use. Like, very, very simple. And let's be honest, some of our photography clients aren't the most tech savvy, so they need simple for anything tech related. For example, a few of my clients just a few weeks ago in my sessions in June, they were over 50 and they were at the point in their life where they just don't want to learn anything new, like, don't want any more tech in their life. So, just explaining to them how to download the digital files that they bought, that was a pain. Thankfully, though, to get them to sign the invoice and approve the proofs and everything, that was super simple because I'm using Dropbox Sign. And like I've been saying, that's a very important thing to have in your software program because especially if it's client facing, is simplicity. We always want simplicity as much as possible if we want to get them to actually do the things we need them to do. I know you're probably wondering about what other softwares I use, so I want to run through that really quickly, even though they're not really like CRM related. So, for my digital file delivery, I use Shootproof. Remember, I do ordering sessions after the session, so they're not getting big galleries or anything like that through Shootproof. The only thing I'm using Shootproof for is to deliver the digital files and to send album proofs for their approval. I love Shootproof for this. Some of my clients use Pixie that's great too. But as you can tell, I usually find a program that I like and I use it forever. And I've just been using Shootproof for so long and I've never left. I use Dropbox for storage and backup for basically my entire business, but especially like contracts and fully retouched client galleries. None of this is client facing. This is all backup for me. And then, of course, I use Adobe Creative Cloud. You know what that's for. I don't do my own retouching anymore, but I do use Lightroom for culling and color correcting and Bridge for ordering sessions. Occasionally, I might have to use Photoshop, but it's very rare. I know there are other softwares out there specifically for ordering sessions, but like I told you earlier in the podcast, I'm kind of cheap about certain things, and that is one of those things. Why would I pay for something when I can do the same exact thing in Bridge that I could do with those other options more in a more simple way? I also have Fundy for album design. I bought it years ago, so it's not the most updated version. I think the new version actually has ordering session software in it. So if you end up using Fundy for album design, you would most likely have that option as well. But like I said, I'm cheap. I haven't upgraded in years, so I'm still just using Bridge for my ordering sessions. Not a big deal. Use whatever works best for your business. So let's talk about a few more things I want to mention before we end this episode. My software programs may not have all the bells and whistles, but it's all you need. The best part, it's cheaper than if you had one program that did it all. One robust system might do all the things all right, but when you use software that specializes in each thing it does, I personally think it does it better and more efficiently and more effectively. And I'm also using this stuff to make my life easier, not harder. I'm not here to spend hours and hours behind the computer making sure things are done. I have other things that I'd rather be spending my time on, like finding more clients. So, one more thing that I want to talk about is make sure that you set everything up completely. This is something a lot of photographers don't follow through with, and that's why they have to spend 1 to 2 hours before and after each session sending reminders, going back and forth with clients about prep, what's happening next in this experience, or sending follow-ups. But if you set up everything in your system, it's going to do what you need it to do without you telling to do it or setting up the workflow to do it. Or it won't take you long to do it if you actually have to do it because the behind the scenes stuff is already taken care of. So I really want to encourage you to not be lazy about your software. Set it up completely so you can make your life easier later. If you only get one thing from this episode, I want you to know you do not have to use the mainstream photography CRMs that everyone else is using. You really, really don't. Pick what you want to use. And the best part, you can find programs that do more of what you need them to do more efficiently, and it'll probably be cheaper. Just make sure you're doing your research and do what's best for you and your business. And speaking of what's best for you and your business, if you're ready to scale your business to that 6-figure mark, you might want to take a look at my free PDF, which is called 5 Targets to Spot Check in Your Boudoir Business this year. In this free guide, I'll walk you through the 5 things you need to look at in your business in order to scale your boudoir photography business as quickly as possible. The link will be in the show notes, so make sure you check it out. Thank you for listening to this episode of Sustainable Freedom with Boudoir Photography. Please be sure to rate and follow so that you never miss an episode. They drop every Thursday and they're always full of super actionable information for you to apply right now in your boudoir business. Until then, make your next shoot your best shoot.